As you see the starting lineups, Garnett, the veteran Sam Mitchell starting with Rasho Nesterovic, Zerbiak, and Chauncey Billups. Eduardo Najera getting the start at forward with Nowitzki, Rafe LaFrentz, Michael Finley, and Steve Nash from afternoon. And Kevin Garnett wins the opening tip. In fact, one of the games here in Dallas, Minnesota won without Kevin Garnett. So they certainly have the confidence that they can win in this court. Nesterovic quickly down low.
Flip Saunders talking so much about the improvement of Rasho Nesterovic, not just on the offensive end, but also help defense.
Some of the matchups to watch for Billups and Nash. Now Steve Nash playing. He has not been the most healthy point guard in recent weeks. The main problem has been fatigue. Nash goes at Garnett. Oh, tough shot.
Great shot. That may be the longest arms in the league to shoot over.
And he did it with the left hand. Nesterovic goes right past Rafe LaFrentz. As you see the leading scoring and rebounding and assists for Minnesota, LaFrentz is going to have some good defensive games for this team to advance in the playoffs.
Well, he's a better defender off the ball, blocking shots when it's not his man shooting, and he's not very physical, and defending the post is not his forte.
Michael Finley. Mitchell gets a hand in his face. And the ball knocked out of bounds. It'll go the other way.
Minnesota's gone inside Michael the first two trips, and that's been a trend in this series. They've really dominated Dallas points in the paint. They would love to live in the lane early. That'll open up things for the perimeter shooters.
Yeah, we mentioned Dallas, the #1 scoring team in the NBA, but Minnesota was the 5th highest scoring team. Neither team known for their defense. Timberwolves a little better defensively. And both teams like to use the zone. Zerbiak way off the mark, but Nesterovic gets it to Garnett, and he did not get it off in time because of Zerbiak's air ball. Never hit the rim, so the shot clock was not reset. And this crowd into it early. As we said, Mavericks basketball for a long time struggled, but the last 2 years they have come out in force. 34 sellouts this year, a sellout here this afternoon. Nash. Garnett the rebound.
Talking to Stevie Nash before the game, Michael, I said, how do you feel? He said, good, but he didn't sound too convincing.
Nesterovic looking for a shot early. Another nice little jump hook. He's calling for the ball, something he had not done in past seasons. This year, much more aggressive. Nice feed. Najera can't finish. Najera, one of the few Mavericks that you can say is a very good defender. And Zerbiak knocks down a wide open 3.
What else would you follow an air ball with within a 3-point shot?
Well, a 7-0 run. Nowitzki. Now Sam Mitchell at 38 years old getting a start. The main reason he's played Nowitzki very well during the regular season.
I think that's why Sam Mitchell's starting. It's why Eduardo Najera's starting. This matchup right here, Nelly likes him on Kevin Garnett.
LaFrentz knocks it away, but then a foul. Najera came in to help out. And Rasho Nesterovic will shoot 2.
Well, the game plan is pretty clear from Flip Saunders. Let's get the ball inside to Rasho Nesterovic. He's catching it in the paint. That's just too close. As good a shot blocker as Rafe LaFrentz is. Rasho Nesterovic is big, and his back-to-the-basket moves are pretty agile.
This is his 4th year in the league. He's from Slovenia. And every year he's gotten a little bit better. See, last season and this season, Flip Saunders says he's the most improved player on the team this season.
There's the key, the fact that he can stretch him out and play him 27 minutes. There's a lot of guys that can give you numbers when they just play a few minutes. The trick is when you stretch him out, then the numbers keep improving. Nesterovic is an improving player.
Kevin McHale says that he's kind of like a Rick Smits type, the former Pacers center. Ball deflected and stolen. 3-on-1 for Minnesota, and Sam Mitchell able to put it in. There you see Chauncey Billups with the smart decision. His play is going to be so important. Terrell Brandon, of course, missed the last 34 games with the injury, and Billups is the starting point guard.
Chauncey's one of those guys, Michael, that I'm talking about. When you stretch his minutes out, the question is, are you going to get more plus or more minus? Chauncey's capable of going for big numbers, but he's also capable of making some mistakes.
A foul called on Zerbiak. That's his first.
Got a hand in right there. That was Nesterovic made that play. He deflected it, caused the fast break.
First team foul. The double team on Nowitzki. Somehow gets away from it, forces up the shot. And then Ishmael, who just checked in. And another foul call. That's what makes Nowitzki so tough as Mitchell picks up his first. You know, he's one of the best three-point shooters. He's got that great range, but he's now putting the ball on the floor a lot more. He's developing a post game.
Mike, it's scary at his age how much he's still continuing to improve. He's 23 years old, and he is just making a quantum leap each season.
Nice pass from Ishmael. And then Ishmael comes into the game and quickly picks up an assist.
I don't think he's in to pass. He's in to hopefully do a little bit better job defensively on Rasho Nesterovic.
Phillips. And Nash the rebound. Mavericks will look to run at every opportunity. Nowitzki for three.
We can turn off the 24-second clock, Michael.
Phillips gets inside and draws the foul. Chauncey Billups is a point guard that thinks to shoot first. But that's when he plays his best, when he's aggressive.
A high-low pass is such a great pass because you take the big man away from the basket. Most teams don't have two dominating big men, as the San Antonio Spurs do. So a high-low is a great look. Take the big man away, dump it down to your next big man.
After Ishmael got his first assist, he picks up his first foul down the other end. Billups, excellent free throw shooter, 88% for this season. He had two of his best games this year against the Dallas Mavericks. One game he had a career-high 36 points. In another game he had a career-high 17 assists. Filling in for that man, Terrell Brandon.
There's no question about his ability, and as we said, he is capable of being spectacular. What he needs to be is consistent.
And you see the shot clock. I think I'm going to agree with you, PJ. It will not be winding down all that much.
Maybe we'll do a seminar for both of these teams. This is the shot clock.
Garnett, the rebound. Minnesota has hit 5 of their first 7 shots from the field. Nesterovic played well by Ishmael, but an offensive rebound. Finley on Serbiak. Another fun matchup to watch today. Serbiak shoots over and knocks it down. He's tough to defend because he's a legit 6'7".
The move to guard has really helped him. I thought Minnesota was in a delay offense there that time, Michael.
So a 9-point lead for Minnesota. They were a good road team. A game over 500 on the road this season. Nash puts it in. That's a 2-pointer. You know, during the regular season, Minnesota had a habit of building up big leads against Dallas. In 3 of the 4 games, they led by as many as 19. One of them they wound up losing, but the other 2 they won. As the foul called against Steve Nash, his first.
Well, both of these teams are spurt teams, Michael, but the trends that have been established in the 4 games they've played, Minnesota's made a living in the paint. You've seen that already with Nesterovic, and they've shot the ball over 50%. Dallas 3-point shooting, no surprise. They take so many threes, and they've really knocked them down. Little bit of a surprise, though. Dallas has done a great job getting to the free throw line.
Phillips a little bit out of control. Garnett, Sam Mitchell, stripped by Nowitzki. Tough shot by Garnett. And Ishmael the rebound. Ishmael's done a good job since coming in the game. Clip Saunders wanted to travel on Nash there. A very good officiating crew on hand. 65 years combined experience.
Hugh Hollins wanted Flip Saunders to sit down and stop telling him about that play.
There's a defensive 3 seconds, so a technical foul. Saunders has led to the team to the playoffs each of the past 5 years, but as certainly Timberwolves fans more than well aware, they have lost in the first round all 5 years. But they have never had the home court in that opening round, and only once have they gone the distance, the 5-game distance.
Mike, they have to be realistic. There's a reason they've been the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. Flip Saunders has not done a good job. He's done an exceptional job. He and Kevin McHale building this team. They've weathered a lot of turmoil and player turnover. I think they've done a great job, and they should be happy to put this record together. Sure, they'd love to advance in the playoffs, but they're always involved in series like this. They're not supposed to beat the Dallas Mavericks. It's an upset if they win this series.
And they've had to rebuild a lot. They lost Marbury, then they lost Gugliotta, so they've lost some key players, yet they still tend to be one of the better teams, just not one of the best teams, as we have another defensive 3 seconds and a technical foul.
Well, the Joe Smith fiasco with the signing there, the terrible tragedy with Malik Sealy. You know, I mean, you look at all these. San Antonio in '99 won the championship. Portland was the second best team in the NBA in 2000. Last year, San Antonio was the #1 record in the regular season. You have to be realistic. This is one of the best franchises in the NBA, and it's a young franchise. I think they're doing a great job. Don't be happy you continue to lose in the first round, but understand why it's happening.
With that said, they feel they can beat the Mavericks. They played them well. And a 4-5 seed, you see the 4 seed upset quite a bit, if you want to call it an upset.
Well, I think other than the year they faced Seattle and that one went 5, this is the best opportunity they have. But I don't want to call it a good opportunity.
Mitchell got it back, but rushed the shot. 7-point Timberwolves lead. Just over 5.5 to play here in the first. The pace, as expected, rather quick. Nash guarded by Zerbiak. Tough shot from Nash. And Nesterovic to rebound.
You'll see Billups a lot of the time on Michael Finley because they like that matchup better. It means
Thursday, the short practice on Friday, along with the injections and the IV. Nash had a full practice yesterday and told me before the game that he'll sort of feel his way the first few minutes, but ultimately right now he's feeling good. Mike?
Lewis, Nash said the 82 games was a goal. He really wanted to play the entire season as Nesterovic misses him. That's great, but he's the type of player that maybe a rest now and then might do him some good.
I don't know if you can get him to sit down unless he absolutely has to. He and Wally Zerbiak, 2 All-Stars this year and 2 players who lined up 82 times. That's an impressive list right there. Yes, they're in the All-Star game, but more importantly, 82 times they line up. You saw Tim Duncan and Gary Payton yesterday afternoon. Wally and Steve doing it for these 2 teams. Maybe Steve beginning to feel the grind a little bit.
Nesterovic, that foul. Finley was normally a guy that played all 82, but for the first time in his career, Michael Finley missed some games. In fact, he had that hamstring and was out quite a bit. He had that consecutive game streak snapped at 490. First time in his career he has been out during the regular season. Wasn't an easy year for him. He had some bumps along the way. He was in the trade rumors. He saw his 2 teammates become all-stars, so he had some ups and downs, but he really finished strong, and he's still the heart and soul of this team.
He's playing the best he's played all year right now, Michael. Dallas last time out of the timeout showed a zone, trying to counteract whatever Flip Saunders was diagramming in the timeout. Now they're drifting back in.
Boy, Billups down amongst the Giants goes for the second effort.
Well, Chauncey Billups is big for a point guard. You see that matchup. We're talking about Stevie Nash maybe being a little bit under the weather, but Chauncey is bigger than most of the point guards in the league, and he's going to look to exploit that. Minnesota now showing zone. These 2 teams play as much zone as anybody in the NBA.
And in fact, part of the success that Minnesota's had against Dallas is the utilization of this zone.
A little bit of a surprise because Dallas is such a great perimeter shooting team that they would have some success, but Minnesota does zone well.
A brick by Nash, but lo and behold, he had to shoot it because of the 3 left on the shot clock. So the first time the shot clock was winding down, you see Garnett scoreless, yet the team's still leading by 7.
Well, I'll tell you, both coaches would be shocked, but one of them is delighted with that stat, Flip Saunders, because he knows Kevin Garnett is going to get his.
Nash, like the Energizer buzzy. Adrian Griffin gets in. Mitchell pokes it away. Crowd wanted a foul, but that's good, just good aggressive play. And Finley with a terrific defensive play, and then throws it away.
Crowd didn't want to foul on Michael Finley, but they wanted one on the other end. Both teams with good aggressive D, as you called it.
Now you'd think Dallas, the way they pushed the ball, they turned the ball over a lot. They set an NBA record for fewest turnovers in a season. It's amazing when you think of it. And overall, they only average 12 turnovers a game as LaFrentz comes in.
They really do take good care of the ball. Sometimes we joke about it. They shoot it before they can turn it over. But let's be realistic. They shoot it better than anybody in the league, and they put up better offensive numbers than anybody in the league. So they genuinely respect the ball.
Deflected by Nash, and still Minnesota ball, 17 on the shot clock, and Van Exel's going to come in. Van Exel, after coming over in the trade from Denver, his numbers are down a little bit, but that's to be expected. But he loves playing here, and he's starting to get a lot more comfortable.
Well, he's getting more comfortable, and we talked about Steve Nash being a little bit below the weather, whether he wants to admit it or not. What an asset to be able to wheel in Nick Van Exel off your bench.
So Nash gets his breather. Gary Trent comes in, and Sam Mitchell sits down. The big scorers have been rather quiet. Phillips trying to draw a foul. Van Exel does a good job getting away. But Billups still able to knock it down. He's got 9 points.
Chauncey Billups with the size advantage over Nick Van Exel also.
So a double-digit lead early for Minnesota. This is not out of the norm. They've had some big good starts against the Dallas Mavericks.
Now, Mike, you made that point earlier. Both of these teams are spurt teams. They shoot it so well and they run so well. You're going to see big lead changes from both these teams.
Nowitzki. Garnett came over. Let's see if they call it on Garnett. Nowitzki moves over the line. So Garnett picks up his first. Nowitzki really this year taking it to the hole a lot more as Mark Cuban enjoying the proceedings.
Tough sun in here today.
Now, we're told, by the way, our producer Ricky Diamond says that they are prescription glasses. We're about to just take shots at him for having sunglasses sitting in here, but they are prescription. I don't know why he has those particular prescriptions, but they are nonetheless.
Why is Ricky defending Mark? I don't understand that. Looks one of my campers from the summer. I can get on him if I want.
Nowitzki now with 5 points. If you ask Don Nelson where he's made the biggest strides this year, he said it's rebounding. Now, he's been bothered down the stretch of the season, missed 4 games with a sprained ankle, but it appears to be 100% now.
He just continues to improve. Garnett does the same thing. It's scary at their age.
And Garnett gets his first points, and it puts Minnesota back up by 11.
We talked about moving Serbiak to 2. Kevin Garnett spending most of his time at the 3 spot, and that has really helped his game. Surprisingly, he's rebounded well from the 3 spot.
Griffin setting up Van Exel beautifully.
The dribble penetration broke the zone down that time, Mike. Anytime you see Kevin Garnett up at the top, you're seeing that 1-2-2 zone from Minnesota.
And that's their first 3-pointer, and it pulls them within 8. Chance of defense. I don't know if that's appropriate here. Billups knocks down a 3.
Chauncey Billups evidently likes to play against the Dallas Mavericks.
12 points for Billups. Remember, he got that career-high 36 earlier this season against him. Van Exel setting up Griffin beautifully. Works a little better when Van Exel takes the 3, with all due respect to Adrian.
Exactly. Adrian's not getting paid to shoot perimeter jump shots.
Griffin, one of several bench players for Dallas who actually play very good defense. Gary Trent knocked away. Griffin gets inside. He didn't have any height advantage. He had the men in front of him, but a very measured, methodical break.
I think his college coach at Seton Hall taught him that move, Michael. That's Adrian Griffin's range right there. Take it to the rack. Garnett.
That high release impossible to obstruct.
Well, they list Kevin at 6'11" or 7. When you factor in the arms and maybe the fact that they're stretching a little bit, he plays about 7'5".
Timberwolves having a big offensive first quarter. Nowitzki settles for the jumper.
What do you mean settles? That's what he was looking for all along.
That's one of the things that Don Nelson has to get on him once in a while. He's such a good perimeter shot, but he's so dangerous going to the basket. Garnett now starting to get the feel, and he draws the foul on LaFrance.
This for Chauncey Billups. We talked about Garnett and Serbiak. Early on, it's been Nesterovic and Billups.
Billups, this is his 5th NBA team, and it's only his 5th year in the league. It's his 2nd year with Minnesota, and after bouncing around with Boston, Toronto, Denver, and Orlando, he has found a nice spot as Garnett hits the first free throw. You see last season, again, the numbers are going to go up because Brandon out. They did not expect Billups to be the point guard. In fact, the trading deadline, there was talk that Van Exel was going to go to Minnesota, as Minnesota had talks with Denver. But they didn't make any deal, and Billups remained the starter.
He stepped in, and he's really done a good job. Again, not to be critical, it's the consistency that's lacking, but Chauncey Billups still a young player.
Robert Pack, meanwhile, who backs up Billups, he comes in. Nowitzki and Garnett. I can watch that all day. Tough shot. Garnett played him well, but Nowitzki with a perfect fall away.
If there's a difference, that's it right there. Kevin Garnett makes you work much harder when he's guarding you than Dirk Nowitzki does when he's on the defensive end.
Nowitzki's gotten better, but he's still not a good defensive player.
It's not his forte. At least he's got an area he can work on.
Garnett can't connect. Ball taken away by Griffin. Griffin has great hands. Van Exel for three. And Anthony Peeler, who just checked in.
Should have held for the last shot. That's a mistake, and Nick Van Exel's a seasoned player.
Robert Pack, a former Maverick, can't connect. And that will end the first period. Garnett started slowly, but picked up the slack a little bit. However, his teammates really played well, led by Chauncey Billups with his 12 points. The Timberwolves every year, it's a staple that they take care of the ball, but for Dallas, with the pace they play, to have an NBA record for viewers, that's a tremendous stat.
It's an unbelievable achievement.
LaFrance on the pull-up. How about your center able to do that?
Well, I'll tell you that, they're struggling to score points. They only get about 105, so you trade for a Rafe LaFrance and a Nick Van Exel.
Since that trade, the team went 19-8, about the same winning percentage as before the trade. Not an easy thing to do to pull a trigger midway through a terrific season. Nowitzki, that's a two-pointer. He felt he was fouled.
Got some people in the building that agree with him.
Garnett, tough shot. And a loose ball foul will go against Gary Trent.
Michael, you're talking about the trade. February 21st was that trade. It's less than 2 months. Nelly, maybe poor mouthing a little bit, but it's true. 2 months is not enough time to get players acclimated. Yes, Rafe LaFrance and Nick Van Exel in particular have contributed, but they're nowhere near as comfortable as you'd like them to be.
Nash on a turnaround. In fact, Nelson believes for you to win a championship, you have to be together 4 or 5 years. We asked him earlier today, is your team good enough to win a championship this year? He said no.
He hesitated, and then you're right. He did say no. I don't think they are either. I think they're an excellent team. They're one of the top teams in the league. But if they win the NBA championship, it's a little bit of an upset.
But he did say they're on their way. Foul down low. As you see the numbers. Again, you'd expect them to go down once the trade was made.
Well, the minutes are what you have to look at. The minutes are down, so when the minutes go down, the production is going to go down right there. They're playing less minutes, and their roles have changed since when they were in Denver. But still, talk about problem when you're sitting on that opponent bench, as Anthony Peeler drills it, when you're sitting on an opposite bench and they wheel those kind of players on the floor, you had trouble matching up with Dallas to begin with. Add another mobile big man who can shoot threes, and add one of the better point guards in the game who can shoot threes and distribute the ball. This team is even tougher. Here we go.
The French misfires, and they're young. Garnett with another rebound. He's got 6. Trent, once the ball goes down to Gary Trent, it rarely comes out.
No, but Gary Trent, I had him in Portland, and he played very, very well. Adrian Griffin noted for his defense, but that's a mismatch. Gary Trent is big and strong. Nelly sees it. That's probably why you're going to see Nahara, who's got more bulk and can battle Gary Trent down under.
2 fouls for Griffin, so Nahara does come in. Trent, a very good low post player. But sometimes there's only one option, and that gets him in trouble. Nice spin move from Smith away and blocked by LaFrance.
There's the off-the-man block that we're talking about. Rafe LaFrance is such a great shot blocker when he's helping out on somebody else's man. That's a great move right there. Garnett thinks he's home free. Here comes Rafe from out on the perimeter.
LaFrance, meanwhile, picks up his second foul. He's foul prone. He led the NBA in disqualifications, fouled out 11 times. But he was also second in the NBA in block shots behind Ben Wallace. And a question for you, where's Walton? Log on to NBA.com to find out where Bill will be on Monday. Follow the Where's Walton NBA Playoffs 2002 Love It Live tour on NBA.com. I think he's everywhere.
30 cities, 30 days. Get ready, America. Here comes Bill.
He's a part of me. He's a part of everyone. Only Bill would get involved in this.
Full court pressure there by Minnesota. Dallas not really concerned, although this is one of their longest offensive possessions.
Still early here in the second. 9-point Minnesota lead. And another turnover. That's the 5th already for Dallas. Garnett. Nahara played him well. And here comes Van Exel. Van Exel and Nash in the game at the same time. No hesitation on the 3. I like what Nash did. As soon as he hit it, he pointed right to Van Exel, who set him up beautifully.
Those two have a very good chemistry working. They look for each other. They're very comfortable. You had to wonder about bringing Nick in, but he certainly blended in well.
Joe Smith left wide open. And Nowitzki comes in for the rebound.
And that was a mistake. Joe Smith can make that shot.
Van Exel in traffic. Penetrate and dish. A three. Return the favor.
Exactly right. Beat you on the dribble and find his backcourt partner.
And the crowd on its feet. Timeout, Minnesota.
He's done it, and he's played all year for the Canadian Olympic team. Ever since he's left Santa Clara University, Steve Nash has worked and improved.
The vitamins apparently are working. As you see, the shooting after the slow start. And all of a sudden, Minnesota, which came out lighting it up. Well, it's got a little cold.
I hope Lewis Johnson kept some of those vitamins for us.
Finley all over Zerbiak. There's an elbow in there, but that's because Finley put his face in there. Nesterovic misses. Joe Smith, tough battle. And Zerbiak comes away with it. But he's called for a travel. Now, Finley kind of stares at him. And Zerbiak gave him an elbow, but it really was more because Finley put his face in.
It was. Michael did go in there, but you see, he's holding him. I don't think this is intentional. He actually caught him with the left when he turned. It wasn't. But that's not making Michael feel any better right now.
Nash, nice feed to LaFrance. And a help defense coming over a little late. 8-0 run for Dallas. They're within one.
Well, it was unusual. It started out like a dribble handoff and then tried to be a pick and roll. And Minnesota was confused, didn't know how to defend it.
Phillips. And Nash tracks down a rebound and quickly races up the floor. Non-stop for Nash. And he gets the roll. Mavericks with their first lead of the game.
Stevie Nash made his mind up when he crossed half court. He was taking that shot.
And this building exploding. Phillips draws the foul. And Nash picks up his second.
Well, we're seeing the entire package from Steve Nash early. Right there. They slipped the screen. Nesterovic got caught. Steve finds Rafe LaFrance down underneath. This time he's just going right at him. Not enough pressure on that shot. Steve Nash has the ability to pull up and shoot it quickly. You need that when you're a smaller guard.
The point guards, the leading scorers. Nash not a surprise with his 12, but Phillips with his 13 leading Minnesota. Plus the 4 assists.
And Minnesota doing a very good job getting to the free throw line. That's normally a Dallas forte. Minnesota perimeter team doesn't always get to the line as much as Flip would like.
Finley sets a hard screen on Phillips. Nash trying to take Zerbiak off the dribble. Oh, pretty pass. LaFrance couldn't finish. And a technical foul call on Don Nelson. Nelson going berserk. Joe Crawford hit him with it. And Don Nelson's son, Donnie, holds him back from what might have been a second technical.
Well, Joe was going to let him go a little bit, but this crew, Joe Crawford, Teddy Bernhardt, and Hugh Hollins, Mike, it's an excellent crew, but this is not a crew where you get a long leash. You're going to say something, say it quickly, and say it respectfully, because these three are all not hesitant to tee you up.
Phillips knocks down the technical free throw. Joe Crawford, who's in his 25th year, has been, for a number of years, one of the premier officials in the league. In fact, if you ask coaches around the league, who's the ref you want to see in a big road game, a lot of them will say Joe Crawford.
Absolutely, but you better remember, and your players better remember, chill out. He doesn't need any suggestions on how to make calls.
Nesterovic goes at Nowitzki. Fight for the rebound, Nowitzki. Look at him dive on the floor. That ankle's feeling okay. Don Nelson told us if Nowitzki's getting rebounds, you know he's feeling better. Phillips misfires. And Joe Smith called for the loose ball foul. So Smith picks up his first. And for the Timberwolves, their second team foul. I don't know if we expected it to be this physical.
Kind of a boring game. Neither team really getting after it. No loose balls. Just kind of letting each other play. This is great atmosphere for the first half of the first playoff game for these two teams.
The intensity difference between regular season and playoffs, it's impossible to experience until you go through it for a player. Nowitzki Van Exel led him beautifully.
Little curl move, but very difficult to defend.
All tied up with 6.5 to play here in the second. Van Exel's now guarding Billups. Nash is on Peeler. Minnesota wants to take advantage there. LaFrance the rebound.
Shot didn't really come in the flow for Anthony.
Nowitzki goes hard. And a foul call. He went right at Nesterovic, who did a good job of making sure that layup or dunk was not going to go in.
Playoff fouls. You don't give up layups in the playoffs. There's the curl underneath. They just didn't defend that very well at all. Chauncey Billups has to help out a little bit more. Nick Van Exel saw it. Dirk says, I'm going right to the basket. Rasho Nesterovic says, you're going to the free throw line.
Nowitzki to the line again. He's got 12 points, 6 boards. Nesterovic picks up his second foul.
Michael, it's going to be interesting to watch the flagrant foul calls in the playoffs because there's been a lot of them in the regular season. This is well done. Nesterovic makes the contact, doesn't really lay him out. Dirk took the ball to the basket. When you go for the man's head or when you knock him off balance, it's going to be a flagrant. There's really been a lot of flagrants called in the regular season, and in the playoffs, the point system is a lot quicker. So players have got to be careful. Everybody talks about Kenyon Martin for New Jersey. There's a lot of players that need to be wary.
In the playoffs, 4 flagrant foul points begin suspension. You can get that by getting 4 flagrant ones or obviously 2 flagrant twos.
You throw a flagrant 2 in there and you're halfway there.
Approaching the midway point of the second quarter. Mavericks by 2. Garnett. Zerbiak kept that alive.
Boy, Zerbiak doing a good job getting after it on the offensive boards.
Garnett stripped by Nowitzki. Here comes Nash. That's a 3.
They love that look. That's why you don't turn the ball over. They had the ball for about 2.5 seconds on offense.
The crowd has been getting up on its feet almost every other time down the floor. We got to save something. Mitchell back in the game. Shot clock winding down, and Billups again. Chauncey Billups now with 17 points, and that's Minnesota's first field goal in nearly 5 minutes.
Chauncey Billups is a great late clock player because he can create his own shot.
LaFrance wide open.
I think the players are a little tired, to be honest, Michael. Some of these looks are good looks, but we're going up and down the floor.
Billups has it knocked away. He felt he was fouled. And Michael Finley ahead of the pack. And Finley with his first field goal.
You say it all the time. Anytime a guard goes to the basket and doesn't finish the shot, it usually leads to a transition layup on the other end.
Garnett foul on the way to the basket. LaFrance has now picked up his 3rd personal. And he'll most likely sit for the rest of the half. So Garnett will go to the free throw line, and we'll have a timeout. Fouls and a nasty gash on his neck. It's being attended to right now as they're patching him up. And as we went over to, but it's a team they've played well during the regular season. And it's a team they've had success against as more substitutions come in. Wang Juju in for the first time, and he has helped them at times, starting to get more and more experience. We know he certainly can shoot.
He's improved dramatically. Don Nelson, people got on him when they drafted Nowitzki, and he said what a great player he was going to be. Nobody's laughing now.
Garnett hits the first. Coming up next on NBC, the NBA playoffs continue as the Lakers and the Blazers meet up at the Staples Center. Blazers and Lakers next up. A lot of people think Blazers, with no pressure, have a chance to really extend the Lakers and maybe even knock them out as Garnett hits both.
Well, they'll be hard-pressed to improve on that double OT game last weekend, and I dare say there may be an occasional hard foul in that series.
Look at Minnesota shooting in the second quarter. 2 for 14. Finley gets, Finley right at Nesterovic. I thought he was going to pass it out.
Michael Finley didn't think about passing it out. That was the zone by Minnesota out of the timeout. Michael Finley just put it on the floor and took it right to the rack.
We've seen the zone sporadically from both teams in the opening half. Zerbiak tied up. Billups for 3. And Nash will get a running start. Nowitzki, Nesterovic goes for the fake. Oh, that's just fun to watch.
That is beautiful basketball, Mike. Transition, push the ball, and play unselfishly.
16 for Nowitzki. Mavericks their largest lead. Nesterovic, he can drill that. He's got such a soft touch for a big man. Well, there's a lot of that going around here today.
A lot of people with good touch.
Michael Finley. And look at Nowitzki hustle it down. Nowitzki now with 16 points and 7 rebounds, and comes up short that time.
Got to be careful when you take a lot of three-point shots. Those long shots usually yield long rebounds.
Phillips shouldn't have passed that. He made a perfect move and had a layup. Just too unselfish.
Don't wait. Minnesota kind of hung their heads, and Dallas is right back at it.
Nowitzki draws the foul and one. Sam Mitchell perplexed at the call, but Nowitzki with a chance for a three-point play.
Don Nelson told us they're just much more comfortable posting up Dirk Nowitzki. His back-to-the-basket game is better. He didn't used to be strong enough to finish inside. He obviously has the great height and the shooting touch. Now he's stronger and more forceful with his moves.
Timeout, Mavericks.
He waits, he accepts the contact. Once he hears the whistle, it's just a little bit of a jump shot. I'm struggling from outside. Let me take it right at you, Rasho. He thought he had a block. Michael Finley flushes it, but it's the transition basket. Steve Nash pushes it. Minnesota can't even get matched up. They move the ball so well. Dirk Nowitzki, surprisingly, can't convert from the free throw line.
18 points, though, for Nowitzki. Mavericks by 4, just under 3 to play in the second. Garnett calling for it. Mitchell fires away. Not the shot Flip Saunders wants there.
Well, Tom Tolbert talked about the fact that the penetration for Dallas is causing problems. Minnesota's standing around a little bit against some Dallas zone. And when you stand around, sometimes you don't shoot it nearly as well.
Van Exel able to haul it in. And the Timberwolves, who shot so well, 52% in that first quarter, have really gone cold here in the second. Van Exel. Nowitzki. Mitchell bumped him. That's the second time Mitchell felt that they call it too tight. He's chatting with Hugh Hollins, but he's picked up his third. The veteran Mitchell's had success against Nowitzki this year, but not here today.
A penetration yielded this shot. What Hugh Hollins said was that left arm pushing against Dirk Nowitzki's hip. I don't know about that. I like Hugh Hollins, but I don't like that call.
But sometimes even that little bit makes the difference as Nowitzki knocks down the first.
If we call those, we'll be here all afternoon shooting free throws.
Peeler in, Mitchell will sit. Mitchell in his 13th year in the NBA, mentioned 38 years old. Tell you what, when he retires, the NBA is going to lose one of the good guys.
No question.
Not a star, he's never been a big scorer, but just a good ambassador for the game.
He's a great basketball player and a better person, Sam Mitchell.
Helped out Kevin Garnett quite a bit in his development.
Excuse me, Mike, trying to get more movement. They got Anthony Peeler wide open. That's one guy can stand around and bury it from the perimeter.
Yeah, that's one guy. Don Nelson told us before the game, Peeler's going to be a key in this series.
Can't let Anthony Peeler get open looks. Earlier in the game, he had to work to get a shot off. That time, he caught it and shot it effortlessly.
Finley. That's a three for Van Exel. Minnesota ball. Well, if Nowitzki's ankle bothering him, he's really battling down low and going after boards.
Michael Finley is really focused this year. He thinks this team, we talked about whether or not they could win. Michael Finley believes they can win.
Garnett calling for it again. There, what Dallas has done a good job keeping the ball out of Garnett's hands. Zerbiak has it knocked away by Finley, but Garnett gets it back. And a 24-second violation.
Excellent defense by the Dallas Mavericks. Minnesota very out of sorts right now on the offensive end after a great offensive first quarter.
How about Dallas's defense here in the second quarter? Now,
No.
their last 11 games, Don Nelson said they've been playing better defense, but he kidded part of the reasons because Nowitzki wasn't playing as Nash misfires.
But Nowitzki and Steve Nash was also banged up, so he gets those other guys in there, the grunts, that do the work.
Phillips, and that'll go out of bounds. In fact, Nelson says, hey, I've got some really good defensive players on the bench. They could hold teams to 80. Of course, would only score about 60.
Well, if you played Adrian Griffin and Greg Buckner and Eduardo Nájera and Johnny Newman, the defensive numbers would clearly get better, but I don't know if the offense would.
Nowitzki. Wrong on the follow. 2 times, can't put it down.
Flip Saunders was not happy with the quick shot last trip down by Chauncey Billups.
Garnett. And that's a case where Nesterovic was looking to slam it home before he caught the ball.
He was. KG may have had a little too much on that, though. That was a short pass to come that hard.
About 2 seconds difference between the shot and game clock. Unlikely that the Mavericks will hold it.
Here's
Maybe
the
they
zone.
will.
Well, here's the zone. You got the 2 longest offensive possessions consecutively.
Garnett, so difficult at the top of the zone. Finley throws it away. Garnett looks up at the clock, and he's called for a double dribble.
It's a big turnover right there because Dallas 1.4 is an eternity for the Mavericks to get a shot off.
Both these teams have turned it over a little more than they normally do. Van Exel lobs it, and that'll end. Don Nelson arguing he thought there was interference on the rim as Van Exel tossed the ball to try and alley-oop to Finley, but that will end the first half. They felt Minnesota touch the rim.
Joe Crawford is talking right now to the other officials. I'm not sure they know what happened.
Mike, thanks a lot. Dirk, we've seen guys on the floor, you on the floor, people are bleeding. Are you surprised at the intensity, the physical nature of this playoff game?
Not at all. I think we got enough experience. We've been through it last year. We played the playoffs, so everybody knew what we had to expect. But, you know, at the beginning, they just got off a better start, and we started rebounding better. We do a good job defensively on Billups. He really hurt us at the beginning, but we do a better job defensively, and offensively just have to be aggressive.
Now, with the torrid pace that we've seen in the second quarter, how concerned are you about Steve Nash trying to come back with the fatigue issue? Because it doesn't look like this game is going to slow down at all.
No, you know, we just got to run the ball. That's our game. If he's fatigued, you know, we got Nick, who's a great point guard to me, an all-star point guard, so we don't have to be worried about Steve too much.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you in the second half.
By the way, he played as Nowitzki gets inside. Good defense from Phillips. Shot clock winding down. Nash gets in, high archer. And a whistle. Sam Mitchell upset. He's going to be called for his 4th foul. By the way, one thing to note on the scorekeepers and the clock operators this year, the NBA for the first time this season, they're using clock operators from out of town. It's not normally the Dallas home crew. It's something they've done this year throughout the league in the postseason.
No, it's the Houston clock operator, I believe, is here today, Michael. But the confusion is any of 3 different people can start the clock, as it doesn't. Stevie Nash doesn't get the role. The slot official, the trail official, or the scoreboard clock operator.
Garnett against Finley. Good matchup for the Timberwolves there.
Flip said you don't have to say anything to KG. You certainly don't. 19% shooting in the second quarter. Part of that problem is Serbiak and Garnett have got to get more looks. Minnesota's big 2 have not been there today.
Serbiak averaged 24 points a game in the regular season against Dallas. He had just 5 in the first half. Garnett. Mitchell left open. Nowitzki the foul. Nowitzki, you want to just come up and kind of, and a technical foul call on Nowitzki. He's yelling at Joe Crawford. What Nowitzki felt was that Mitchell flipped out his leg in order to look like there was contact. And Joe Crawford quickly hitting Nowitzki with a technical.
Everybody's a little testy right now. I think we better let it settle down. One of the reasons, though, that Garnett is not getting as many looks, Dallas paying special attention to him. They doubled him. He had to kick the ball out to Sam Mitchell.
Watch Mitchell's right leg. Now that's a foul on Nowitzki.
No question. Call was correct. Joe knew it was correct.
So now Mitchell will shoot the 2 free throws on the personal foul. That's Nowitzki's first foul.
You talk about knowing the players. You have to know your opponent and what his tendencies are. You better know officials also. Dirk's been in this league long enough to know certain officials you don't bark at.
Bill Crawford has got officiating in his family. Remember his dad, Shad Crawford, an umpire in the major leagues for so long. His brother, Jerry, an umpire in the major leagues.
Great officiating umpiring family, Mike.
T-Wolves back up by 1 as they've scored the first 4 points of the third. Nahara had foul problems in the opening half. And a foul on the pass. Billups got caught on a bad matchup. And Chauncey Billups picks up his first.
Mismatch underneath. Rafe LaFrentz tries to go to the basket. Actually, Rasho Nesterovic on top did a pretty good job pressuring that pass because it was open earlier.
Nowitzki bangs into Billups. 2 on the shot clock. Rafe LaFrentz now with 6 points. Mavs came out hot early, led by as many as 11. Or I should say Minnesota, the 11-point lead early. And then Dallas came back strong as Nowitzki grabs his 8th rebound.
It's like the Minnesota recipe is to get KG involved early.
Finley on the pull-up. And Garnett with his 7th rebound.
His shoulders at about rim level.
Zerbiak. Tell you what, I'm impressed with Dallas's defense after the first quarter as Mitchell knocks down that one, but they're really playing some pretty good defense.
No question, they're putting forth better effort on the defensive end. That time, though, Minnesota took advantage. Dallas got caught where they were sliding and rotating. One extra pass yielded the open shot.
Nash. Nesterovic is on him. And Nash able to shoot and knock it down. Steve Nash shooting the ball well. He's got 14 points.
Great lesson right there. He got Rasho Nesterovic back on his heels. He made him think he was going to drive the ball to back him up and shot over the top.
But Nash has had to work at the other end because of Billups' fine game. Nahara fighting up on Zerbiak. Nesterovic rushed it.
You called it, Mike. The defensive intensity is much better from Dallas than it was in the first quarter.
There wasn't much of any kind of defense in the first quarter for them. They gave up 31 points. Zerbiak using the glass.
I guess technically the intensity can't be better if there were no intensity to begin with.
Nash will get some rest in between games as he puts a nice feed into Nahara, because game 2 is not until Wednesday, and then game 3 not until Sunday, so the whole fatigue story might go away very quickly.
First round of the playoffs favors veteran players and somebody trying to come back from an injury because the games are really spaced out and there's a minimal amount of travel, although Joe Crawford thought there was a maximum amount of travel on that play.
So let's watch Garnett. Oh, absolutely. I still say I'd like to see traveling coiled much more. And I think the players would adjust in a hurry.
Players are always going to adjust. There's no question.
Nash, nice feed, LaFrentz. Nesterovic did a good job just going straight up.
Did a good job not committing a dumb foul because Rafe LaFrentz was kind of caught nowhere land.
And Zerbiak gets his own rebound and a quick foul. Wally Zerbiak, for his first time being an all-star this season, has had to adjust to that as well.
Well, you can see the impact already, and you also see a mismatch right there. Wally Zerbiak has his hands full trying to defend Nick Van Exel without any help.
Van Exel now with 8 points. Mitchell blocked by LaFrentz. Billups gets rid of Nash and puts it in. Chauncey Billups now with 19 points and 6 assists. There's already been 9 lead changes in this quarter alone.
Both coaches love to go at mismatches. There's a lot of mismatches out there. They're just isoing players and letting them go one-on-one.
Garnett guarding Nowitzki. Tough shot from Nowitzki.
I don't know if I'd call that one a mismatch. Kevin Garnett is a very good defender.
Van Exel is on Serbiak.
Right back to him.
Yep. Serbiak again rushed it a little over anxious, knowing the mismatch is there.
Good basketball, but Nick was aggressive.
Nash just kind of flipped it up. Nowitzki nearly decapitated Mitchell on that follow, but it's going to be Minnesota ball, and the physical play continues.
Players are all looking for a TV timeout. Hugh Hollins is looking over at the scoreboard saying, do we have a TV timeout or not?
No, but flip zone to say, I want one.
Mismatch is the thing you need to remember. Here's the mismatch at this end. Serbiak against Nick Van Exel. Wally comes up with the offensive rebound and converts. But if it's a mismatch at one end, it's a mismatch at the other. Wally has his hands full trying to guard Nick the quick. Nick takes him right to the basket.
Serbiak in the game with 9 points. But how about having Nick Van Exel as your backup point guard? He's probably the best backup point guard in the league.
How about having Avery Johnson as your third string point guard and can't even make the playoff roster? Now he's a coach.
Avery Johnson part of that deal from Denver. Billups. Chauncey Billups continues his terrific play. And there's Avery Johnson. Tell you what, the guy that's taken over his starting job in San Antonio played pretty well yesterday, Tony Parker.
Yes, he has, and as always with these two teams, the way they shoot dictates the game. 6 for 11 Minnesota in the third quarter. Dallas has slipped to 4 for 11. That's why Minnesota's on top.
Finley puts it in. Serbiak was right in his face, and Michael Finley able to knock it down. Finley with 8. Serbiak, Van Exel got leveled on a screen, and Nesterovic doesn't miss many of those when he's wide open.
Rasho Nesterovic has a great touch and the ability to score inside. He is going to get better and better.
Finley, back-to-back jumpers. Michael Finley, who has really looked forward to the postseason. Last year, in the elimination game against the Spurs, Finley shot 1 of 17 from the field, and he kept the box score as a reminder. Nowitzki with a rebound. Nowitzki against Garnett. Garnett's such a good defender against such a great offensive player.
There's no defense for that, unquestionably.
You know, you see guys, a lot of guys, not just one or two, huffing and puffing today.
They're going up and down the floor, and they're expending maybe a little more energy on defense than they normally do.
And that ball last touched by Garnett. It was deflected, but Garnett touched it last, and that's the 10th turnover for Minnesota.
Flip Saunders telling Wally Serbiak the angle wasn't there. He tried to make the pass from on top. He wanted one more pass to the side, and then the entry might have been there.
At 1 point, Dallas lead. Turnovers higher than norm for two of the better teams in that department. Nowitzki off strong. Oh, and a foul. Dirk Nowitzki with a chance for a three-point play.
Very strong move, and he took the bump. You talk about Dirk Nowitzki being stronger, part of his improvement. Watch when he's up in the air. He gets bumped. See the push? But he absorbs that and still has the presence to shoot it with his left hand, give himself an opportunity for the three-point play.
Nowitzki now with 24 as Garnett has picked up his second. And just remember, he did that against one of the best front court defenders in the league.
Dirk Nowitzki has his A game this afternoon.
Able to knock down the free throw. Dallas by 4. 7 straight points for the Mavericks. Quite an ebb and flow to this one.
There really is, but I think the key for Minnesota is going to be for Garnett and Serbiak to give them more offense.
Nesterovic made a nice move. And a foul. Nowitzki's helped defense that time saved Wong on the play as Van Exel commits his first. Dallas with their second team foul.
Well, since the first quarter that we trashed them, I'm really impressed with Dallas's effort on the defensive end.
Finley really bodying up on Zerbiak. Nice move from Wally. Zerbiak couldn't finish and then gets called for the foul.
Little bit of frustration there because Wally was made to work, and he actually did really work to get a good look inside. When he couldn't finish, he reacted a little bit impulsively.
Dirk Nowitzki has last couple of years really developed some toughness to his game.
I think he said when he came in here, he really didn't know what to expect. You can watch it on television a couple times a week from Europe, but until you line up against these players.
Van Exel, perfect timing on that. He was hoping for the pick and roll, and there's that kind of in-between shot that's so difficult to defend. He releases it before the defensive player has a chance to block it.
The floater, if you're a small guard who
8 assists.
They're points guards. Not to finish that thought. He is stronger and more physical because he
So Minnesota going to try and squelch this run.
Early double-double for Dirk Nowitzki.
This equals the largest lead of the game for Dallas. Garnett has Nash on him. Nesterovic left open, but comes up short, and Nowitzki another rebound. He's got 11 boards, and a lot of them tough rebounds, not only in traffic, but once he's had to go after.
He likes those 20-20 nights, and he's got one working right now.
Garnett pins it and grabs it. This crowd was going to explode if Long hit that shot. Nowitzki picks up his second foul.
Well, much as we talked about the learning curve for Dirk Nowitzki, R1G1 facing that same uphill climb right now. People in Toronto, particularly the players and coaches, so delighted to have Stan back on the sideline.
And a salute to the fans for that warm welcome they gave all back. Gary Trent has come in from Minnesota. Adrian Griffin for Dallas. Trent gets it, shoots it, gets it again. Blocked by LaFrentz, but a goaltend. And that one was on the way down.
Gary Trent is in there to get some points on the board for Flip Saunders, and he right away delivers. Off the ball, Rafe LaFrentz always looking to block. You like that. You'll take goaltendings. You want people to be aware when there's a shot blocker on the floor.
Nash getting a rest now. Van Exel and Nash play together quite a bit. And a foul down low. Gary Trent pushing on Rafe LaFrentz. Trent will pick up his second. The Timberwolves now in the penalty, so LaFrentz will shoot free throws.
That's not a good idea to put Dallas on the free throw line. Normally, that's been an advantage for Minnesota. They're 14 for 17 today, but Dallas is a great free throw shooting team. They're over 90% today.
For LaFrentz, this is his first playoff game. And that played previous. Coming over in that trade. You see the numbers since the trade.
Rebounds the same. That's impressive in 3 less minutes. Points down. He's not getting as many shots. I still don't think Rafe is comfortable. Nick Van Exel much more comfortable in Dallas right now than Rafe LaFrentz. Just hasn't found his niche yet.
5-point Dallas lead. 2.5 to play in this third quarter. Garnett, relatively quiet game. Well, the Mavericks have really looked to stop him. Shot clock winding down. Peeler using the left hand. Fight for the rebound. Trent. Trent goes up. Blocked by LaFrentz. Trent again. Foul. And one. Gary Trent, second time with the second effort.
Gary Trent is going to keep going up. You have to knock him down because he's going to keep coming at you. He's really a bull inside. I love his tenacity, and he's so good close to the basket. He actually has a very good touch for a big, strong player. AP went in, and there's LaFrentz again affecting the shot. LaFrentz makes a difference on the defensive end for Dallas. He gets Gary Trent one time. Gary keeps coming.
Trent, this is his first year with Minnesota. His 7th year in the league as Nowitzki grabs another rebound. Minnesota, his 4th NBA team. He started with Portland, Toronto, a brief stint with the Mavericks. So there are a couple of ex-Mavericks on the Timberwolves. Robert Pack, another one. Lead is 3. Van Exel. And Zerbiak the rebound. Phillips calling for the ball. On the trailer play, Garnett can't get it. Goes back. Blocked by Finley for a foul. Finley saying all ball, but he's not going to get any sympathy from New Hollins. And 2 free throws coming up for Kevin Garnett.
Well, I tell you, in the last minute, you see Rafe LaFrentz on every play, Michael. He's contested every shot. When you shoot the ball, he's on the floor. You need to be aware of his presence. Otherwise, KG was going to finger roll that right in on the fast break layup.
Garnett only 11 points, and if you're Flip Saunders, you've got to feel pretty good that he has not really had one of his offensive games, and you're right there, only down by 2.
Yeah, that feeling good, though, is going to be replaced by, but Kev, I know you're going to start. You better start soon. We need to win this one today. They would love to start a first-round series with a win. They've never done that in franchise history.
Part of the reason he's been quiet, every time he touches the ball, they send a second defender out. Every time. 2
and sometimes 3. There's no question he and Wally Serbiak are feeling the heat from the Dallas defense.
Trent is on Van Exel. Griffin goes hard. Garnett with the block. Not a smart shot that time from Griffin.
Too small.
Phillips, oh, nice hesitation pass. Chauncey Phillips having a terrific game. That's his 7th assist. And a 6-0 run from Minnesota. They're back in front by 1.
Gary Trent's got them started off the bench, and good defense has keyed some transition action for the T-Wolves.
Moore looks like a zone. There's a 3. Way short. 3-on-2 numbers for Minnesota. Serbiak! And Don Nelson wants a 22nd timeout as the T-Wolves have gone on an 8-0 run.
It's all defense and then transition. Defense keys fast breaks. Adrian Griffin in among the big guys. Kevin Garnett gets a piece of it. He turns, and here come the Timberwolves. Chauncey Billups, easy decision. He finds Anthony Peeler underneath. 3 straight trips down the floor. Minnesota's got it going. Wally Serbiak with a rare open attempt at the basket.
Watch out for Wally. LaFrentz trying to block it. Serbiak now in double figures with 11.
It's so much easier in an open floor. That's why the players love transition offense instead of attacking a set defense.
This is the first ever playoff matchup between these 2 teams, but because of the regular season battles this year, there's a nice little rivalry developing.
Well, it was a very nice rivalry. These 2 teams play a similar style. They're so explosive offensively. There they are, sitting back again.
Final minute, 3rd quarter. Dallas back up by 3, or excuse me, Minnesota by 3 after Dallas came out strong here to start the 3rd. Nash against Joe Smith. Shot clock winding down. Nash is going to have to put it up. And they didn't call a 24-second violation, I guess, because Minnesota had a chance for a break.
No, they got it up.
But it didn't hit the rim on that particular.
No, Minnesota did a great job, though. They switched the pick and roll, and then they rotated. They really frustrated Dallas on that offensive possession.
And excellent.
Looks like Chauncey Billups. Hopefully it's just a grab. He's grabbing the back right there. You hope that's not a pull, just a quick spasm or a cramp.
Billups has led them in scoring with 21, in assists with 8.
Obviously, you can't tell. We'll find out. Lewis Johnson will get the info for us.
And free throws coming up when we return after these messages.
Steve Nash, and he does a really good job. It's just excellent defensive possession by these guys. They can't get a shot off. It's really good defense. Switch and rotate. I don't know whether you...
Right now, nearly a steal from Naharat. Serbiak, Peeler with a great look for 3. Ball tip. Nash running. He's going to get a chance to get it off. Steve Nash at the buzzer. There's a turn of events for you.
You can almost read Flip Saunders' expression, Mike, if you watch this. As soon as the ball squirts into the backcourt and Stevie Nash lost.
Here in game 1. 3 quarters complete. Mavericks and Timberwolves all tied at 73. You would expect in a playoff game as opposed to those regular season matchups. Finley fighting over the screen.
Wally Serbiak fighting to get a look at the basket this afternoon.
Robert Pat gets it to Trent. Trent had a good look. Another second effort. Defended well. Rafe LaFrentz right there. Van Exel off the dribble. LaFrance for three.
You telling me he didn't call glass?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
You're correct.
The Mavericks had missed their last 8 3-point attempts prior to that one that Nash hit, and now LaFrance, so they've hit 2 in a row after struggling from downtown.
We've got 2 of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, and they're just not putting it in, unless you want to count this as putting it in. Bang.
Finley with his second foul, and Kevin Garnett's going to come back in. It's obvious what Dallas has said. They really want to try and shut down Garnett, and have done the same, or at least try to do the same with Szczerbiak. Chauncey Billups leads Minnesota in scoring with 21. Garnett only has 12. Szczerbiak just 11.
Look at these numbers. 2 of the top 4 in the league barely hitting the rim this afternoon.
Garnett short. LaFrance played him well. That's one of the keys in LaFrance's game. He's a good defender and an excellent shot blocker. Nash gets past Peeler and is tripped up. And Garnett, good sportsmanship, helping up the opponent. So Peeler picking up, or they call it on Pack. Well, Robert Pack is first. Billups is going to come back in, so apparently he's okay.
He's okay, but cramps have a way of coming back. What actually happened on that play, Nick Van Exel got into him a little bit, and he had to kind of squat down. And again, sometimes you want to keep that muscle stretched out. So look for Chauncey Billups to maybe struggle with that cramp in the last 11 minutes.
Finley. Szczerbiak making him take a tough shot, and Finley knocks it down. Here's Szczerbiak. You can't play him much better than that. Make him taking a shot like that.
They're doing a really good job, and it just continues back and forth. One team gets hot and pulls away, the other one responds.
Offensive foul against Minnesota. Nash got leveled by Gary Trent on a screen.
You can't afford empty trips in this game.
You see him sliding there a little bit. Nash.
2 trips ago he couldn't finish, but he provided the lift Flip was hoping for.
Van Exel steps back, puts in the 2. And the Mavericks come out of the gates in the 4th quarter with a 7-0 run.
Flip's going to take a timeout. He goes to zone. Nick's kind of standing there, nobody underneath the basket. It doesn't matter. He bears the jump shot.
Another standing ovation for the Mavericks.
This is very good defense by Wally Szczerbiak. He's playing Michael Finley. He forces him to arch back, and he gets good pressure on the shot. It doesn't matter. Michael Finley finishes. This is a zone. Everything's packed inside. Nick Van Exel finishes.
Largest lead of the game for the Mavericks. And you're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
When wet portion of our program, NBA
Mavericks now, a big story here. Another big story, timeouts. Minnesota, because of that 7-0 run, had to use a timeout. They only have 1 timeout remaining. Already used their 22nd timeout late in the 3rd.
Well, the timeout they didn't want to use was the one for Chauncey Billups' cramp. But you have to be in a game. People say, we got a foul right here, Michael. But people always say to coaches, why don't you save it till the end of the game? You have to be in the end of the game. Flip Saunders wants to make sure Minnesota stays in touch. You can't save them if it's not a close game.
Nahara with his 3rd foul, 2nd team foul. And 14 on the shot clock for Minnesota to inbound. Garnett. Peeler. Nice defense from Nash. And then a bad pass from Nesterovic. The 12th Minnesota turnover. Finley, nice duck under. 9-0 run to start the quarter.
We talked about the problem in defending his team. Early on, Nowitzki and Nash carried the load. There's the 3rd member of the triumvirate. Now, Michael Finley stepping up.
Garnett foul on his way to the basket. LaFrance will pick up his 4th. And a nasty gash on LaFrance's neck.
Real good offensive move here. He fakes. He gets Szczerbiak up in the air. The step through. Great poise by Michael Finley. Wait, let me get the defender out of the way. He squares up and finishes.
Mavericks 4 for 4 from the field in the 4th. Garnett called for travel. Took that extra step. And even though he said something to Teddy Bernhardt, he knows it.
Well, his steps are a little long. When Kevin Garnett takes a step, it's very, very long. Sometimes it looks like an extra step. That time he did.
Nash, he's bumped. Chauncey Billups says good call. Second team foul. Of course, this is the second game of our triple header on NBC. The first one as playoff basketball returned to Boston, and the Celtics beating the 76ers and lead 1-0 in that series. Of course, after our game, it's Portland and the LA Lakers from the Staples Center as Nowitzki comes back in. He's the game's high scorer with 25. LaFrentz sits down. LaFrentz, by the way, has 5 blocked shots.
He's keyed the defense, and you're talking about defense. Boston played a little bit of defense against Philadelphia this afternoon in Allen Iverson's return.
Shot clock winding down. Philly. Nahara lost it out of bounds. Last touch by Minnesota.
There's the hustle plays that Nelly loves from Nahara and Buckner and Griffin and Johnny Newman.
Don Nelson calls them the dirty work guys. Nowitzki wide open, and Peeler gets the rebound. Both these teams have great ability to come back and do it in a hurry. So even though Dallas in control here to start the fourth, there's still plenty of time. Garnett wants the ball. Nesterovic way short. Garnett the rebound, and there's a high percentage shot.
Look out below.
Kevin Garnett just 14 points, but he has 15 rebounds and 5 assists. Nowitzki goes right at Nesterovic. Nahara trying to keep it alive. A lot of physical play again. Zerbiak, that's a 2-pointer. And just like that, Minnesota cuts it to 5.
Minnesota just looks so much better, Mike, when they're able to get out and run. And they got to attack Dallas's half-court sets. Defensively, they struggle.
Don't forget, they won here during the regular season without Kevin Garnett. And the two teams split the 4 games. Shot clock again winding down. Nash for 3. Zerbiak, tough rebound, and Minnesota looking to push.
Zerbiak again.
Zerbiak inside. Nesterovic on the tip-in. Zerbiak made a nice catch. Billups threw it behind him and still able to get it. A 6-0 run for Minnesota. Finley for 3. Zerbiak again ahead of the pack, but Peeler didn't see him. And an offensive foul. Great transition defense from Nash.
Well, that is an enormous play right there, Michael, because Minnesota had it going their way. Anthony Peeler made the decision. Steve Nash got his feet outside the semicircle and in front of Anthony Peeler.
Nash not known for his defense, but smart play that time.
Big play.
3-point game, still plenty of time remaining, over 7 minutes. Finley, one of 5 players for Dallas in double figures. LaFrentz, point blank range. It was a great look.
Minnesota was zoned up. Ray found the seam. He just couldn't finish.
Garnett. And Nash trying to cheat over on him. Garnett blows past LaFrentz. Zerbiak not expecting the pass, rushed that shot. And Nowitzki comes down with his 13th rebound and a foul. Kevin Garnett, his 3rd. Minnesota with their 3rd team foul.
Dallas has dodged bullets the last 2 possessions. Minnesota had numbers on the fast break and couldn't convert, and they got a real close-in look and couldn't finish.
Garnett 4 for 14 from the field, but again, he's done the job on the boards with 17. And he has his 5 assists, which is about his season average. He averaged a career high in boards and assists this season.
But he's got 6.5 minutes to still pick it up offensively.
And Exel for 3. He's a big shot maker, has done so throughout his career.
He's a big shot taker also. A lot of players don't want the big shots. Nick Van Exel has always welcomed them.
Garnett comes up short. He's been short on a lot of his shots today. The Maverick defense, and some people will be surprised to hear this, but the Maverick defense a lot to do with it.
I think that's the big story. The last 3 quarters, Dallas has really stepped up defensively.
Nesterovich, good hands, but still Dallas ball. 3 left on the shot clock. There's Avery Johnson, and there, look at this has been a key for Minnesota. They haven't shot the ball well, but 17 offensive rebounds. Right now we have 3 left on the shot clock for Dallas to inbound, or to get the shot off. Finley, the catch, fires, and a 24-second violation.
Well defended. You know, Tom Hammond talked about Shaquille having his game face on, Mike. I think I'd rather look at Angie Harmon's game face than Shaquille's. I mean, I love the big guy, but
she's a big Mavericks fan. By the way, you'll count that as a turnover. That's only the 2nd turnover in the 2nd half for Dallas, and the 1st one here in the 4th quarter. And a foul on the French. So that's the 4th team foul and 5th on the French. Free throw shooting could be very important down the stretch. Both these teams good from the line.
Both these teams excellent for the line, but against the regular season form, Minnesota has already attempted 20 free throws to only 13 for Dallas. It was just the opposite in the 4 games in the regular season. Dallas with a huge advantage.
Nahara in. Nice feed. Nesterovich can't get it to go. Garnett again.
When you asked Flip Saunders before the game, does he want Kevin to be more selfish at the end? 2 possessions. He threw it to Wally Serbiak. He didn't finish. He threw it to Rasho. He didn't finish. I think it's time for Kevin to get more selfish.
Garnett was brought up. If the teammates open, throw him the ball. But he's the main guy. Van Exel for 3. Not a good shot in that instance.
Here come the numbers. 4 on 3.
Peeler inside. Nesterovich blocked, but a follow and 1. So Nesterovich, best thing that happened to Minnesota was that block on the 1st. He felt he was fouled and then went up and has a chance for a 3-point play. It's a 2-point game.
Repeatedly today, Minnesota has done a great job on offensive rebounds. Here's another one. It was blocked. He comes back with it. Serbiak did it early. Gary Trent did it. Kevin Garnett did it. Now Rasho Nesterovich. 18 offensive rebounds.
They're a good free throw shooting team, but there are exceptions. Nesterovich a bad one, but Peeler keeps it alive with a big offensive rebound. Another one. That's 19 offensive rebounds for Minnesota. Garnett comes up short again.
Wow, Minnesota has had opportunities to tie this game up.
Nowitzki for 3.
You wonder how many chances you're going to get, Mike, inside. Minnesota's got to finish.
28 points for Dirk Nowitzki. Mavericks back up by 5. Still plenty of time. Peeler, offensive foul, lower the shoulder, and that's the 2nd charge Nash has picked up on Peeler.
Anthony Peeler's upset, but again, opportunity. How many times is it going to come? Kevin Garnett with the look right in front of the basket. Yeah, a little bit of pressure. And then Dirk Nowitzki with the 3-pointer on the other end. That's not a 4-point play. That's a 5-point play.
It's a 5-point game. 4:04 remaining. Nash with Garnett on him. Blocked by Garnett.
Good point, Mike. You knew he had Garnett on him. Steve Nash didn't.
Nahara with the steal. Peeler with his 2nd straight turnover. Nowitzki has Nesterovich on him. A matchup Dallas loves. That's a 2-pointer. Nahara nearly kept that alive. Garnett instead with his 19th rebound.
Has good 6 Minnesota turnovers, really hurting them right here in this corner. Dirk's got to get a better shot than that, Mike.
Nesterovich over Nowitzki. Rasho Nesterovich with a big bucket. He's got 16 points.
Dallas walking it up. We may see that fatigue we talked about early. And you have some tired players on the floor right now.
They'll have plenty of time to rest. Game 2 not until Wednesday here in Dallas. Nahara, an open look.
They've hurt them with that matchup all day. Rasho Nesterovich zones up to help, and the big man for Dallas just flashes in the middle. He's wide open.
5-point Dallas lead. Peeler drives again. Pass inside, knocked away. Peeler with another costly turnover. Nahara wisely brings it back out. Nowitzki has Billups on him, and Nash recognized that and got on the ball and drew the foul. And Exel, Nahara, Nash, Nowitzki, and Finley out there. But Trent's the only one close to fouling out. Nahara again. And Garnett snatches his 20th rebound. Billups had the big first half, a little quiet in the second half, and that one in and out.
Long time between shots. Minnesota needs a couple of stops in these final 2 minutes.
Finley with Serbiak on him. Tough shot, puts it in. .16 for Finley. Mavericks have equaled, or now lead by 7, I should say, with 1:35 remaining. Nesterovic knocked away by Finley.
Can't put the ball on the floor against a good aggressive help defense, and Dallas is doing that this afternoon.
And the crowd sensing a win. The turnover's crucial in this fourth period. Van Exel. Just over a minute remaining. Minnesota's going to have to start thinking about threes. And there's a bad foul from Nick Van Exel. The last thing the Mavericks wanted, because they're on the penalty, and Billups will shoot 2.
Well, they just need scores and stops, but Wally Serbiak shaking his head. He forces Michael Finley to go left. Again, pretty good pressure on the shot, but Michael Finley in focus.
Billups, meanwhile, will go to the line. Billups had 17 points in the first half. Just 4 in the second half. He's 6 of 7 from the line today. As we mentioned, Billups, an excellent free throw shooter.
A lot of excellent free throw shooters on both teams, and free throws could be important. Minnesota can still play it straight up. There's enough time left to get these 2 points. They need a couple of stops. There's more than enough time to get back in.
Billups hits a pair. Let's see if the Mavericks, although they don't normally like to do it, but they need to take time off the shot clock. Peeler trying to put the pressure, and there's a bad foul on Anthony Peeler.
He was trying to foul full court. Flip is looking at him. I don't know what he's thinking about. He tried to take a foul in the backcourt. Flip Saunders is disgusted. He's just reaching it. He's trying to commit a foul there.
Bad decision from Peeler, who's had a rough fourth quarter with some turnovers. And he puts Van Exel at the line. Third foul on Peeler. Van Exel misses a free throw.
Maybe Anthony Peeler knows something we don't know. Nick Van Exel is one of a slew of 80% free throwers on the Dallas roster.
And since he's come to Dallas, he's shooting 84%. 5-point game, 57 seconds remaining. Flip Saunders knows his team has had their opportunities here in game 1. Mavericks continue to play some very good defense. Billups felt he was fouled. Nahara played him tough. And another costly turnover for the T-Wolves. Call a foul against Nesterovic.
Call it a turnover, call it a shot. Whatever it was good defense by Dallas that caused it. Eduardo Nahara closes in. He doesn't reach. Chauncey Billups thought he had contact, but Nahara made a good move by not reaching, so he doesn't get called for the foul. Just lost control of it.
Yep, he was going for the shot on that. And Nowitzki knocks it down. 29 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 block shots for Dirk Nowitzki.
Dallas impressive on the defensive end, Michael, and their big 3 stepped up. Serbiak and Garnett have played well, but not well enough.
And Flip Saunders will use his final timeout.
But 5 for 17 shooting is not going to get it done.
And the big surprise in the Big D today has been the defense of the Dallas Mavericks.
We talked about the big three. We didn't talk about the big D. Dallas has stepped up on the defensive end.
This game was tied after 3 quarters. Dallas came out strong. Zerbiak, strong move to the goal. That's too easy if you're Dallas.
Too quick, exactly right. But here's the problem in trying to come back against Dallas. You put them on the free throw line, you just reasonably can't hope for misses.
As a team, they shot 81% from the line.
They were second in the league in the NBA the last 2 years. They're first this season. They hover right around 80% as a team. That's unbelievable shooting. Gary Bourne, their free throw coach, one of the many assistant coaches on Dallas, gets a lot of the credit.
Nash puts them back up by 7, 40 seconds left. Adrian Griffin has come in, so Griffin and Nahara, some defensive players in there for Dallas.
Dallas going smaller and quicker to defend against the three-point shot.
Nash hits a pair.
Doesn't even hit the rim.
19 points, 6 assists for Steve Nash. Garnett puts up the 3 and puts it in. Kevin Garnett from downtown.
They missed an opportunity right there, Michael. Adrian Griffin had the ball. If Minnesota could have got matched up a little quicker, they would have wanted to put him on the free throw line instead of number 13.
That's where you have to foul those guys as Billups picks up his 5th. Garnett, by the way, not a bad three-point shooter, 32% during the regular season. And Nash right back there where he looked pretty comfortable last time.
It's so important after you score, you got to get matched up quickly because they had an opportunity to foul a lower percentage free thrower, couldn't do it.
And Nash in 4 attempts doesn't hit the rim. Half minute to go, 7-point game. Billups again. Quick basket. Billups almost fouls Finley before he inbounds. Now Van Exel. And the Mavericks doing a good job getting the ball in the hands of the right guys.
I don't think Minnesota's in a zone trap. They're just not getting matched up. You have to contest and try and steal the inbounds pass and then hopefully be selective. There really aren't a lot of options to foul on the Dallas roster. But you got to think you want Nahara or Griffin on the free throw line.
Billups fouls out with a team-high 25 points and 9 assists. And Robert Pack will come in. Pack, who this year was working out at Tyler Community College in Texas. When he got the call, hadn't played all season, got the call late in the season from Minnesota with the Brandon injury, and they didn't acquire another point guard in the trade, and he's played pretty well. As Van Exel knocks down another one.
You see players getting called up or picked up late. Yesterday, Ansu Cisse for Seattle, Randy Livingston. Unbelievable opportunities late in the year.
Clutch free throw shooting from the Dallas Mavericks. Van Exel nearly committed a foul there. Griffin the rebound. And let's see if the Timberwolves going to put up the white flag. Flip Saunders will let them play it out. And another standing ovation for the Dallas Mavericks. An impressive Game 1 victory in this best-of-5 series.
Very solid effort by the Mavericks.
Game 2 not until Wednesday.